Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with sweets when you were a kid and into your adulthood?
Oh my God. I think I was, people say they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I was born with a sugar spoon in my mouth. And it's funny because there's research now that what your mother ate while she was pregnant with you is going to dictate your taste preferences in life. And my mother I can't ask her now, but it must have been just things like M&Ms with peanuts. I don't know what to tell you because I always loved sweets. And we had a lot of them growing up in the 1960s in Chicago. And you know, think about it. Like I was drinking coffee at the age of 4. Like what 4-year-old drinks coffee with sugar and cream? So I was starting off my day already with, three drugs, dairy, caffeine, and sugar. And I just loved dessert. And we were raised, with a father that's like a tax master, you gotta clean your plate. Yeah, take what you want, but eat what you take. You got big eyes. And so in order to get dessert, I would like eat all the stuff I didn't like and probably overeat just to get that sweet treat at the end of the meal. So I've always had a love affair or maybe even a love-hate relationship in some ways with dessert. But now I can have them. I can have them every day if I want because I know a way to make them that won't hurt you or the animals or the planet.
As someone who struggled with sugar, we talked about that in episode 17 myself, and I've shared it with the audience. And I'm now not eating any kind of, I eat fruit, but I don't eat any desserty things because it kind of flicks my brain into like, oh, and I will basically just eat it. And truly, I wanted to there's some of these recipes are really easy. And I wanted to make one before our show, but they looked so delicious that I was really afraid that it would flick that switch in me and make me a sugar monster again. So explain to us what the difference between fruit sweetened desserts and white sugar desserts are to our bodies and our brains.
And it's good that you know yourself. And that could be the case for you, but it's like Dr. Doug Lisle says, until you run an experiment, you won't know for sure if you'll still get triggered by whole food desserts that are sweetened with fruit. So I look at fruit completely different than processed sweeteners because fruit is to our natural diet throughout human history. It's a whole food. It's found in nature. It has water, fiber, vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, antioxidants, micronutrients, sugar, whether it's white sugar, brown sugar, cane sugar, evaporated cane juice, barley malt, molasses, honey, maple syrup, brown rice syrup, coconut sap, stevia, monk fruit, all those things. These are not whole foods found in nature. So all the fiber, all the nutrients have been stripped, and they really have few to no phytochemicals, antioxidants, and micronutrients. So there's a big difference because one of the things people have to understand is that fiber is only found in plants. It's not found in animal products, and it's not found in processed foods unless it's been added back in. And fiber is the reason that many people that adopt a vegan or whole food plant exclusive diet can eat what we call ad libitum, as much as we want, as often as we want, whenever we want, until comfortably full, because fiber is what puts the brakes on overeating. And sugar has no fiber, but fruit does. And sugar has no water, but fruit does. And when you have fiber and water in the same package, which what you get not just in fruit, but in vegetables, whole grains, potatoes, beans, things like that, fiber and water together create bulk, and bulk creates what's known as satiety, that feeling of fullness that tells you to stop eating. And so I did not go from my 43 years of sugar addiction where I was having Coke Slurpees for breakfast every day with 8 pumps of vanilla syrup and Dr. Pepper regular big gulps for lunch to eating vegetables for breakfast like I now do. I used many of these desserts, the richer ones, which I really no longer even crave or eat, kind of as methadone just to get off of sugar. And even though they were calorically dense, it's not like that they were like eating kale. Because they had the fiber and the water and the nutrients, I could be satisfied with a normal piece instead of eating the whole cake or all 6 cupcakes. So I used to love Ralph's. I used to live near Ralph's, and I used to get they would sell a 6-pack of white cupcakes with white frosting and confetti sprinkles, and I would eat the whole thing. But with these desserts, because they are made from food, I can stop.
And so what you're saying is I should do an experiment and
Well, if you feel like, here's the thing. So it's like if somebody's an alcoholic, I'm not going to say, hey, you know what? You've been sober for 5 years. Let's see if you can drink. I've done all my experiments with Dr. Doug Lisle under quote medical supervision of a wonderful plant-based psychologist. But the thing is I would not necessarily, if you're happy with, here's the thing. People have to know themselves. And if a person can go without dessert or sugar, God bless them, more power to them. But if they're white knuckling it and they're just wishing that they could have it in their lives, what this book does is create, I feel, the healthiest forms of dessert, not just because they're free of the sugar and some of the other calorically dense things that aren't so great for you, like the oil, the salt, for example, but they're actual food. And for some people, they're not going to permanently dessert. But some of the desserts in here, I would say, are so much just like the fruit and so low in caloric density that if you're able to eat a banana, you're probably able to eat, there's a few recipes I can recommend. Or if you're able to currently eat an apple, there's some recipes in here, I think but again, everybody's different. You have to know themselves. And, when people fall off whatever plan they're on, I would rather have them fall off here, than go to Krispy Kreme.